everybody. Last one for Facebook for beginners as the main topic, and the subtopic today, I thought we'd go into some Facebook stories and just why they are useful or why you should be using them. And first of all, though, why? So as always, I always give you a bit of a why and you should be using them. These can lead to higher engagement because stories are still fairly, well, not new, but they're up there. It's getting preferenced by Facebook algorithms because it is something that a lot of businesses, or even people for that matter, are using at this point. So it can lead to higher engagement. So it is something to think about for your business pages. It also can help you build your brand awareness, because whatever you're doing in your feed, in your normal standard posts every day, or if you're doing an ad marketing strategy or anything like that, this will just add on top of that. So it'll just give you the ability to get your brand out there even a little bit more than what you're already potentially doing. Then, of course, it can definitely strengthen that audience relationship because it is still a new feature. Your general consumer are looking at stories a lot more so at the moment. So it could actually help you in that respect as well. And of course, depending upon the content that you're putting up there, it'll determine what that relationship or how it develops further. But it is something that you can definitely use to help you build that relationship and that engagement even more so than before. Now, it is regarded as prime real estate. So now I'm saying that because if you have a look at your account on your phone or even on your desktop for that matter, you'll see that stories are at the top of the page in Facebook. So they are prime real estate at this point in time. So you might be putting some posts out there, but it's not prime real estate because with all the algorithms, and we talked about the Facebook algorithms last week and how they work and what they're doing with those. So if your posts are not getting seen as much and they're not going up into people's news feeds, you certainly would be with your stories, because that is prime real estate and it's at the top. And as soon as you load something, it's going to be there. So people are more likely to interact with it. And if they see you, then what potentially could happen is that they go to your page, they get more interested in what you're doing, they start to interact, and Bob's your uncle, it starts to increase your algorithm with those particular audience members. So it's a really good idea to start using this area, because it gives you just that one up on potentially a lot of other businesses who are not using this space at this point. And then, of course, it's, as I was saying before, it's a fairly newish part of Facebook. So when they introduced Instagram stories, it was only, I think, about 4, maybe 5 months later, they introduced Facebook stories. So it hasn't had the growth rate as much as what Instagram has, but that's not a bad thing for us either, because it's still growing. It's still low enough for us to get the cut through. So we can still use it to our advantage as a business. So it's definitely an area that stories, if you haven't tried before, that I would definitely start trying, because of all these pluses at the moment. There's not many things that are going against it at this stage. So it's a really good area to start doing it. Now, just some tips before you go and start using your stories. So first of all, the content. What type of content are you going to put up there? So this is where you can have a bit of fun. So much like your Instagram stories, you can start using Facebook stories where it's showing things about your business that you don't necessarily want to have in your newsfeed or in somebody else's newsfeed. So your posts are there to give them maybe some general information, some education, entertainment, or whatever, but your stories are there to build on that and to give it a little bit of a fun aspect. So don't think too much into it, but still think about what the type of content you're going to add. So it doesn't have to have all the bells and whistles, but it's something to definitely think about, and as part of your overall strategy using Facebook. Now, the consistency, some, again, like your standard posts, how often do we go out there and how often do we use it? This is totally up to you and the resources that you have available for you. So it could just be maybe one afternoon you're sitting there going, oh, I might do that as a story, and you might pop it up. Or it could be that, you might do it every couple of days. And if you're really good, you could do it every day. It's totally up to you. There are no hard and fast rules for this part of it. But obviously, as I was saying before, it's prime real estate. So if you've got your information up there or something up there in a story, people are going to see it. And that's the beautiful part about it. It does support your page. Excuse me. So it also only lasts for 24 hours. So unlike Instagram, where you can have reels, highlights. So with that, you can actually save any of your stories for longer periods. In Facebook, they haven't brought that in. So it lasts for 24 hours and then that's it. So I would think about, is the content that I'm sharing on my story something that really should be longer term in my feed? Then that's where it should be. But if it's something that's just a quick fly, on the wall type moment, it's a funny thing that's happening in the business, or maybe it's a revealing something that's coming that you're going to put into your news feed, then that's a really good way of doing it. So use it as I said, use it as a very quick bit of information that you're going to push through to your potential audience and to your existing audience. Then you could, like Instagram, you can also use call to action buttons where you can learn more, shop now, buy now, and a few other different ones that you can do. So you can put these call to action items in, or you can add a custom link. So you can go, right, I want you to head to my website, for instance. You might have a deal or something happening on your website where you're going to push them over to, or it could be your blog article or something like that you're pushing them to. So you've got the ability to do that on here, just like you can on Instagram stories. You've also got at your hands is the creative tools. So you've got all your tagging options, locations, just like Instagram. You've got some emojis and GIFs and things that you can use. It's not as comprehensive, I don't think, well, me personally anyway, as what the Instagram stories are, but it still gives you quite a number of tools that you can use and share with your audience. So it's up to you. Again, you can put all your little fairy lights and all the other bits and pieces onto your stories, or you can just keep it quite plain. It is totally up to you. There's no rules in this space. And then, of course, like anything, when I've told you over the last couple of months, you need to monitor it. So you do need to be on top of if it's working, if it's not, maybe you need to ramp it up a little bit and show more, so you've got a lot of different things that you can monitor in here. Or you can just look at it and go, yep, that works, and I'll do that again next time, or, no, I'll stay away from it. So it's totally up to you how you would like to use it or don't use it. It's up to, I'm not here to say you must. It's just something to give you a little bit of extra information around using stories on Facebook. Now, I want to go and show you a few things on stories. So I'll just hop out of this screen for a moment and I'll jump over to my next screen. I'm going to show you off of one of my, one of the accounts I've got access to. So you can see here on this one, this is the Mary Valley Rattler. You may or may not have heard of it. So you can see here this blue ring that's sitting around the outside of my profile picture. That actually means I have a story already in play on this particular account. So if I tap on that, it'll say, do you want to have a look at it? So if we view it, I did this one last night just to say about face masks, and unfortunately now that we're down in lockdown again in the greater Brisbane area, and that masks across Queensland need to be used. So I did that story, but then if you have a look, I also did an actual newsfeed post at the same time. So it supports one another. So remembering how I was saying before that it's at prime real estate. So if I go back out to my home, you can see at the top here are all the stories. So they're taking pride of place. So at the moment, these are all just friends of mine who have got stories. But as soon as a business or anyone that pops up that's got one, you can see here, there's the first couple of businesses that have popped up in my feed because I happen to follow them. So it's a good idea to actually take a look at these and see what others are doing or what they're not doing, so you can then potentially use it in your stories. So I'll just go back to that page. And so from here, you can see when I click on it, it says I can view the story or I can view profile picture. It's not giving me the ability to add any more stories in from this point, but you can add more stories in. So you can do it from your phone and you can click on your profile picture and it says add to story and you can do it from that. Or you can go into your Creator Studio and you can create stories from in here. So you can see I can do it from this point where it says add story, or I can go to here where it says create post, and I've got add story option here. So I've got quite a number of areas that I can add a story from on your Creator Studio. So if I click on that, it'll, because I manage a number of pages, it will ask me where, but yours will automatically come up because it's your account, obviously. So from here, you've got the choice of a couple of things. So here we're going to create a photo story, or you can create a text story. So I would always have a visual of some description because it just makes a lot more sense. So you would just go through, follow the prompts. It will soon tell you exactly what you can do and can't do as you go through the story bits and pieces for you. We can go and have a look at just a quick text story for you. So you can see here, you can change your background to however you would like to have it sit at the back. So if we go with that one, for instance, and we can just say, remember to wear your masks. It'd be good if I could spell today when you visit us. So I won't load that one because it's not ideal. But you can see you can just put in a nice simple message in there if you like to. You can change your background, you can change your font size or anything like that, or your font type. And then that's basically it for the text story. So very plain. So you can see how I was saying before, there's not much to the text ones. So it is better to actually have that visual that sits behind the scenes for you. So much better in that respect. So I'm not going to load that one. But also you've got the ability then I was saying before to monitor your story's outcomes. So in here, you can go into your insights and you can see if you come down to your stories, it'll then load in the stats and the information for you that you've got for those stories. So it's something that you can get easy access to, and you can, again, you can have a look at it, what's working, what's not. You can work on where the people are seeing it from. You can look at females versus males and so forth, and then you can see your stats down the bottom. So it gives you a full representation of what those stories are achieving for you, okay? So from there, what if, I won't take up that too much more time, and I will try to continue to see if I can access my phone so I can show you a little bit better. But go and try your first story, go and share it, obviously, and then monitor it. And then let us know how you went. As always, we'd always love to see how these are working for you. And if there's something, if you have issues or if you have questions or anything like that, it just works out to be something that works in with your overall strategy and something that you can actually work on as part of your overall plan of attack when it comes to using Facebook and Facebook stories and all the other suite of things that you've got access to. So thank you, everybody. Wonderful time. Thank you. Bye.